Hello once again. On our previous lesson, we worked with the introduction to the inequalities, and then on this next lesson, we're going to look at actually the solution of the inequalities. Okay, so the first one being that how do we solve the inequalities? First, we need to look at when do we change the sign when we solve the inequalities. So consider this number. 6 is bigger than 2. Okay, example, 6 is bigger than 2. If we add or subtract a number, subtract any number, the above statement will still be true. The above statement will still be true. Now let's look at this. Let's plus 6 plus 2 on both sides. Remember, we have to do it on both sides. Plus 2. So we're going to get 8 still bigger than 4. This is true. So let's subtract. Here we add. Now let's subtract. Let's subtract. Say 6 minus 2 is bigger than 2 minus 2. So we end up with 4 is bigger than 0. This is still true. Now, what happens if we multiply? If we multiply, or divide, both sides with negative number, or by negative 2. Let's see what happens. We're going to have 6 multiplied by negative 2 is bigger than 2 multiplied by negative 2. So we end up with negative 12 bigger than negative 4. But then this can't be right, because according to the number line, the fact that the closer number it is to 0 in the negatives, it's the one that is bigger. So which means the inequality sign needs to be reversed, because this is not negative 12 is not greater than negative 4. So it will be true if we say negative 12 is less than negative 4. So which means now clearly when we multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality sign needs to be reversed. Then the statement becomes true when we reverse the inequality sign. So when it's a general, so we're going to take this as a general rule. When we divide or multiply, by a negative number, we reverse the inequality sign. The inequalities. Right. So this means that we are ready to tackle the problems now. So let's quickly look at an example. Example 1. Number 1, we have 2x bigger than negative 6. So 2x bigger than negative 6. If we're looking for x, we have to divide both sides by 2 or multiply by inverse. So we can say 2 divided both sides by 2, 2 cancels 2, then we end up having x bigger than negative 3. Okay, so we don't reverse because we divided by a positive number, so this goes right. So then now let's see if we have number example 2. Say we have negative 2x bigger than negative 4. So we divide both sides by negative 2, negative 2. So since we're dividing by negative 2 and x now becomes positive, we have to reverse the order of the inequality sign. So we're going to have x is less than positive 2. Okay, so we can have another example, number 3. Example 3, we can now have 4 into 2x minus 1 bigger than 5x plus 2. Now we have to first distribute the brackets. 4 times 2 is 8x minus 4 times 1 is 4 bigger than 5x plus 2. So during a transposing, the inequality sign doesn't change. So we're going to transpose 5x until minus 5x, and also transpose 4 and end up with 2 plus 4. So 8 minus 5, since we have the like terms, we're going to have 8 minus 5 until 3x bigger than 2 plus 4 is 6. So we divide both sides by 3, divide both sides by 3, then our x is bigger than 2, because 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this is actually what we do with the inequality sign when we transpose or multiply by the negatives. So we can look at the last problem or example, where we, example number 4, we can have 2x minus 1 all over 3, and then bigger or equals to 2x plus 1. So then now, how do we then solve this problem? Since under the denominator on the left hand side of the compound or of the inequality sign, there's no variable, then we can cross multiply as though we solve the equations. Okay, so we have 2x minus 1 bigger than, because we all know this is over 1, so cross multiplication, the numerator on the left hand side multiplied by the denominator on the right hand side, which is 1, so it's just going to become the same denominator, so same numerator. And then now we go on, we're going to have 3 into 2x plus 1. We either say we cross multiply or we multiply everything by 3, both sides by 3. So this 3 cancels by 3, and we end up with this. This is the result. So then now we're going to have 2x minus 1 is bigger or equal to 6x plus 1. So then now we have to transpose 6 to the left hand side, so we end up with 2x minus 6x, and then transpose the negative 1 to the right hand side, we're going to have 1 plus 1. So 2 minus 6, we end up with negative 4x bigger than or close to 2. And then continue with this, we have to divide both sides by negative 4, divide both sides by negative 4. Since we're dividing with the negative, the inequality sign needs to change. And then we end up with negative 1 over 2. So we can represent all this on a number line. So to do so, we can just see that actually on a number line, for x value must be from negative 1 over 2, including that because there's an equality there and it's less. That will be our number line for this one. There's inequality of example 4. Example 3, it will have a number line of this form. We're going to have 2 x must be bigger than 2, so it will be excluded because there's no equality there. X bigger than 2 can give any number above 2, and then this one is x less than 2, so our number line will be 2 excluding 2 itself, but anything above that going to the negatives or going to the left of 2, and then this one will be negative 3 excluded as well. X is bigger than that, so it will take anything above negative 3. So these are all three number lines that we actually have. So we can proceed in that manner. And I think I made a slight mistake somewhere here. The slight mistake here. Instead of multiplying with 3, I multiplied on the first term inside the bracket, so this must be 3, and then this is 3, and then if this is right transpose, I end up with end up with 4, and my answer will not be a half, it will be a negative 1. So it doesn't really change that much, just going to mean that I need to fix my multiplication very well. So yes, that's the distribution. It can be problematic if you don't actually follow through very well. You need to pay very much attention to it. All right. Thank you.